Scott, when we were covering recruit, this is going to be an old timer segment here for a second. Whenever they talk about changing the rules for recruiting or transferring or any of these things, you would always hear from a coach or an administrator, you can't do that. That'd be anarchy. It'd be the Wild Wild West. Are we now at anarchy in the Wild Wild West? And is it way better or way worse than it used to be under the old rules?
Well, it giveth and it taketh away, Charlie. I mean, it's I you see a player like Walker Howard transfer out, and you think he was kind of on the plan that they wanted. That he's going to be redshirting this year and then have 4 more years to play, and he's going to be behind one of those guys at least. And of course, both Daniels and Nussmeier return, and now he's winding up at an SEC West rival. And in the past, he would have had to sit out 2 years. Am I not wrong? If he wanted to transfer to someone in the conference,
Yes. Yeah.
That would have been the rule years ago.
And nobody ever did that. To my knowledge, nobody ever did that.
No. But Brian Kelly, by the way, was at the gymnastics meet Monday, sitting on the front row behind me. His first gymnastics meet.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that on television.
He was there with no entourage. He was there with his daughter Grace, and he said he was enjoying it. And it was a great meet against Oklahoma. And but the transfer portal helps you, as well. I mean, Kelly could not have built LSU back to where they were this year. Still with some holes, but not to the point they were without the transfer portal. Obviously they retooled the secondary completely. Jaden Daniels, of course, came in from Arizona State after being a starter there, a multi-year starter there. And then a similar thing for LSU women's basketball. I mean, Angel Reese was the number 2 prospect in the country a couple of years ago, coming out of high school, and a consensus 5-star, and she was the top transfer in the country. And you see the dividends she has paid for LSU. She's a national player of the year contender now. So, obviously coaches, and I think it's human nature. Coaches, people in the media, fans on the street, anyone typically decries change when it happens, because as human beings, we don't like change. But I don't think it's been the demise of college athletics that maybe I even feared, but it still needs a little more. It needs a little more regulation. It needs a little more, a few more boundaries. So does NIL especially. But I like the idea of hey, if you want to go more than one school, you're going to have to really show a compelling reason why. It's not just I feel like it. But it's helped as well as it's hurt, and I think it's crazier. Yeah, it is crazier and harder to wrap your head around a roster or a team's prospects or something like that. But it does. There is kind of an equilibrium there to me that I think we've seen with how much it's helped and hurt. Some programs, especially ones at LSU.
I was always of the opinion that fans mostly rooted for the uniforms. Okay, they rooted for whoever was in their uniform, and I can't think of any better example than Reggie Bush for Louisiana football fans. When Reggie Bush was at USC, and there was this great debate over who was better, LSU or USC. LSU fans hated Reggie Bush. They hated Pete Carroll. They hated Matt Leinart. They hated the whole Lindale White, the whole bunch of them. Okay, but as soon as Reggie Bush came to the Saints, people liked him a whole lot. Okay, same guy, but now he's on the Saints Super Bowl team, and hey, go Reggie. So I always thought it was, hey, listen, and I still think that to a certain extent. And you can look at it in recruiting every year. You get to signing day. We're going to get him. 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 He goes to the other school. You bum. Okay, so that, to me, I still think they root for the uniforms a little bit. But is this because the fans are not maybe able to draw long bonds with guys that they root for? The guy that plays for their team the whole career, the guy that plays for their college the whole career. There's always that specter of you're going to lose them. Is that why we don't like this, or why fans don't like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with in college athletics, to me the difference in the pro mentality and the college mentality is a little more. The college team, this is where I'm from. I mean, the schools can't move. The pro team can pick up and leave, and they have many times in all the leagues over the years. But the college can't go anywhere, and so it's very much more ingrained where you're from and where your family is, and your family went to school. I went to that school, and my dad went to that school, and my mom went to that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So I think when a player leaves through the transfer portal, seemingly a lot of times on a whim, it's a rejection of something that's even more personal than it is the Saints or the Pelicans or the Cowboys or the Yankees or something like that. So I think it's I think that's why the reactions can be a little stronger. By the way, Charlie, so are you saying if Tom Brady signs a free agent deal with the Saints, people are going to be overjoyed about it?
Tom Terrific. I'm serious. Tom Terrific.
Yes.
It's very easy to listen. I've seen people root against some of the. Well, I'm going to give you an example, okay? And this goes way back, and I'm not calling anybody out. I was just there and it happened. The 1990, oh gosh, I think this was 1997 or 98. One of the years that they were playing, no, it was 2000. Okay, 2000 LSU baseball team wins the national championship, and the next year they're playing an alumni game. They used to do this, the current team against the alumni.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it anymore. And it might have been Brad Cressy. It might have been Blair Barbier. I don't remember who it was, but the alumni were coming back, and there was a crowd at Alex Box Stadium, and they were rooting for the current team, of course, and I'm like, well, they're going to certainly root for the alumni, and it might have been Barbier that came up or Cressy. I'm like, the crowd's going to go nuts, and it's like, yeah, clap, 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 clap. It was a golf clap. It was like, you guys don't play for us anymore, and I don't know. It just struck me as those guys won a national championship for LSU like 9 months ago, and now they're getting the golf clap. I mean, I thought that they would go crazy. So. Yeah, I do think in a lot of cases that you root for and not everybody, but a lot of people. It's just, hey, you're with us. I'm fine. Jaden Daniels, okay. Nobody rooted for Jaden Daniels because he was Jaden Daniels. They were rooted for him because he was the LSU quarterback when he was the Arizona State quarterback. Who cared? They root for the uniforms. Walker Howard may be a little bit different because they've known him for a little bit longer. But if he's at LSU, they root for him. If he was at TCU, they wouldn't have cared. If he's at Ole Miss, they're going to root against him. It all depends on how the guy dresses on Saturdays.
I hope he's ready to get booted. I mean, potentially he could be the starting quarterback when they play here in 24, right? I mean,
the odds are that in 24 it'll be Nussmeier for LSU and Howard for Ole Miss. Now, only a million things can happen between now and in the fall of 24. But yeah, that's the as Jimmy Ott would say, that's the chalk right now. If you're asking me who's going to be the starting quarterbacks in that game, that's the chalk.